Welcome to the CatFiveBoys podcast. I'm your host, Matt, and I'm here with my co-host, Maddie. Say hi, Maddie.
Hey everybody, hope everyone's doing well.
Here are my co-host, Maddie, and today we have a good show today. Just a few announcements before we get started. George should be joining us later on in the show. He couldn't be here right now because he's running a little bit late, but he should be here later on in the show. But again, he should be joining us. We'll see. I'll keep you guys posted during the show if he will come or not. But either way, let's get some announcements out of the way. Welcome to the show. Disclaimer: the views expressed on the show by the individual hosts and or guests do not necessarily reflect the views of the CatFiveBoys podcast. Further disclaimer: the topics discussed on the show at times are not always family friendly. They're not always super light topics. Sometimes they get deep, sometimes they get dark. So if that's not your thing, then this might not be the show for you. Otherwise, enjoy the show. We have clips. If you can't catch the full shows, and you kind of want to get some of the best bits, some of them, not all of them, because then what would be the point of the episodes? If you can't catch the full shows, you want to get a couple of the best bits. We have clips accounts on Instagram. We post clips. TikTok, both of those are at CatFiveBoys. If you're watching on YouTube, we have clips on YouTube as well. We have shorts, so if you want to check those out as well, just go into the channel and you'll see the shorts there, and you can check those out and see kind of a gist of what we kind of do during the episodes. Maybe you can catch one of the full episodes in a later one, later on a different episode, whatever the case may be. If you want to be a guest on the show, we would love to have you on. If you want to discuss your viewpoints on different topics, if you disagree with any of my views on women or any of my views on politics or anything of the sort, or maybe you agree with me, or maybe you disagree with Maddie about being a simp, or maybe you disagree with with George about being a fat phobic
Complete
person,
dickhead, yeah.
and that too. If you disagree with any of us on those topics and you want to debate it, come on the show. Just DM us on Instagram at CatFiveBoys. Also, if you want to just talk about something cool that's happening in your life, or just have a conversation about something interesting that you maybe want to talk to somebody about, we would love to have you on as well. Just send us a DM at CatFiveBoys on Instagram, expressing to us your interest in being on the show. Maybe a little bit of a bio, your name, your age, your location. Just a little bit of a bio about yourself, and we'll get in contact with you and get you on the show as soon as both schedules align. But yeah, again, that's it. That's Instagram at CatFiveBoys. Just send us a DM over there. I stream every single Saturday. I didn't stream last Saturday. I slacked off in that one. My fault. My bad. But I will be streaming this Saturday. I have a lot of things to talk about. There was a big black mass satanic thing that was happening in Kentucky, I believe. It was super crazy, and some positives, some negatives. I'm going to talk about that on the stream. I might even touch on that a little bit on this episode, but for the most part, I'm going to talk about that in more extensive detail on the stream on Saturday. We're also going to play some games over there, so if you guys are interested in maybe clowning on me in live on air, you want to maybe chat shit in the chat, or if you want to throw some love our way, or rather my way, I would love that as well. I stream on YouTube and on Twitch. The links to that will be in the description down below on this video. If you are on YouTube, subscribe. If you're on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, follow and drop us a 5 stars. Make sure you like the video on YouTube, and drop the comments. We love the comments. Maddie was pointing this out a couple episodes ago, maybe even last episode, I believe. But Maddie was pointing this out. If you guys have any stories, any dating stories, any funny things, any funny stories in general, or maybe some scary stories or something you want us to talk about during the Reddit segment, we would love to hear those stories. We would love to talk about them during the Reddit segment on the following episode. Or if you guys just have any disagreements, any comments, any concerns, any criticisms, just drop them in the comment section, and we'll definitely look at them, and we will respond to them in the following episode. We love the comments very, very much. We post every single Wednesdays and Fridays, or at least we're trying to. This Thursday, or I guess this Friday for you guys because we post on Fridays, is going to be our very first live in-person show. Hopefully, if all things go according to plan, if the Lord provides, we will be posting our very first in-person show. It's going to be me and Maddie. George can't make it for the in-person shows, but it's going to be me and Maddie on Friday. Every single Friday episode is going to be a live in-person show. or not live, but in person. It's gonna be me and Maddie. We're gonna have some fun. Maybe we'll bring in some guests on for the in-person shows as well if things go according to plan. But we're gonna test it out on Friday, and if it's a good episode on Friday, we're definitely gonna continue to do it more consistently every single Friday. So, but yeah, we post every single Wednesdays and Fridays. We're gonna have a lot of guests coming on throughout the month of April as well on every Wednesday show. So be excited for that. I'm not gonna spoil too much about the guests, but I guess I don't think it's too much of a spoiler for me to say we have a vegan coming on. We have a LGBTQ rights advocate coming on. We have a dating coach,
Comedian.
a comedian, a dating coach, a Andrew Tate like guy coming on as well. So we got some entertaining episodes coming in the future, guys. Bear with us. I know some of these episodes have been getting a little bit repetitive, or possibly could be. Maybe you guys are still enjoying it, but could be to some people it's getting a little bit repetitive, but we're going to try and switch things up a little bit in the future, bring some interesting and entertaining things for you guys in the near future as well. Maybe even some debates. Who the fuck knows? The fucking sky's the limit, so we'll see what happens. But with that being said, without further ado, let's get right into the episode. Maddie, how have you been? And what's on your mind, buddy? If there's anything on your mind, just let us know. Let the people talk to the people, man.
I mean, everything's been well, man. Ever since our last episode, which was last Thursday, everything's been going well, man. I had a great weekend. It was very relaxing. It was the first time it rained in a while here, so it was nice to sleep in and just have that nice white noise in the background. Um, I just caught up with my friends. We had a game night, so it was nice for us to get together and just hang out and everything. And everything else has been going well, man. I can't really complain. Everything is going very well. How about you, my man?
It's good to hear, buddy. It's good to hear that everything's going good. Same for me, just kind of excited to get all these things going on in the show, and just kind of moving the show on and kind of getting some more entertaining and interesting things happening in the future. Right now, for me personally, it's really just been work and just going back home and kind of working on this project we have going on. But fucking yeah, I gotta set up because the studio, at least the setting we're gonna use for the in-person episodes. I gotta set that up as well, which is gonna be a lot of fun for me. I love setting things up like that. So, but we're gonna have a good setup for you guys to be entertained by, or to have some interesting things about us in the set when we actually get everything set up and everything like that. We're gonna have some things about us, some things that kind of um, speak on our personalities and things of this nature. But yeah, so besides that, like I said, God has blessed me with another week, another opportunity to do the show with my good friend Maddie, and hopefully George is able to come on as well, and then obviously he'll be, that will apply to him as well. But yeah, everything's been chill. Everything's been chill. Thank the Lord. Uh, with that said, without further ado, I don't know if you have any comments or anything to say, Maddie, before we get right into the Reddits.
We're really excited to have the people we just mentioned on in the future for the podcast. We're really excited for that. And we're really excited to be doing our in-person recording of the show. And we really hope that again you guys can leave comments and do everything, or if you want to be a guest, give us a story, but remain anonymous, since we do the dating advice and am I the asshole and things like that of your daily lives. That way, maybe we can see if we can help you guys rather than reading it off Reddit. That way you guys can be part of the show.
I agree. I agree. Definitely, the comments do help a lot. Another thing that I was kind of interested in doing, if you guys want to leave comments, letting me know if this is something that you guys would be interested in or not. In-person debates, also scheduling debates on the show itself, different things of this nature. Debating things like politics or dating or feminism or I don't know, even things when it comes to movies and shit like that, like or sports, having these type of debates on the show, scheduling them and having like a, Matt versus this person, and the topic is this, or Maddie versus this person and the topic is this, or George versus shit like that. Definitely in person would also be very interesting as well. But if you guys are interested in that, just let me know. Leave it in the comments section, or whatever the case may be. If you're interested in debating with myself, Maddie, or George, also send us a DM about that as well. We would love to have you on and debate whatever topic it is that comes to your mind. Um, but definitely leave comments. We love the comments. But other than that, I think we're ready to get started with the Reddit posts. Let's get in there.
Let's get to it.
All right, we're gonna have a first one is gonna be true off my. Is gonna come from true off my chest. Not true off my chest. Sorry, I can't speak today. True off my chest. I was conscious during my medically induced 3-day coma. I wasn't sure where to post this honestly, but I thought some people here might find it interesting. I also wasn't sure if this counted for not safe for work since it talks about medical procedures, so uh I tagged it like that just in case. I, 27 male, had open heart surgery a little over a week ago. It's my second surgery, my first at 4. I have tetralogy? The fuck? Tetralogy of Fallot, technically, but my case is quite severe. Both surgeries ended up being more complicated and twice as long as initially planned. Both surgeries, because of how long my chest cavity was open, swelled a lot, so they couldn't immediately suture me back up and had to wait for the swelling to go down. In both cases, I was in a medically induced coma. When I was 4, it went on longer because I was crash every time they took the breathing tube out, so that was prolonged. This recent surgery, I was in a 3-day coma, and I was supposed to be totally dead to the world, but I wasn't. I was conscious. I heard the doctors, my parents, the nurses, felt them suctioning liquid from around my breathing tube. I felt the quick wipe down the nurse gave me. I heard my sister on the phone with my mom. She tried to let me hear her, but the doctor said I couldn't. I was screaming about how wrong they were in my mind. I saw the doctors when they were checking for pupil dilation. I felt them put lube eye drop stuff in my eyes, but couldn't move my pupils. No one knew I was alert. There was nothing on my vitals that indicated it. And when I woke up and started recounting everything, the doctors and my folks grew more and more horrified. The administration gave me an in person apology and told me she was launching a full scale investigation on how this might have happened. I haven't been able to find too many other experiences like this for medically induced comas, mostly brain injury ones. Anyways, thought this would be interesting and wanted to share. That sounds fucking terrifying.
Eh, yeah, bro. Well, while you're supposed to be completely knocked out, you're not with all that shit going on. I mean, shit. I don't know how they didn't have a panic attack or going crazy. If I was supposed to be, in a medically induced coma and I woke up and I heard everything and I felt everything, bro, I would go instantly so ballistic. My goodness,
But you
that
can't though.
person's
That's
stupid.
that's the worst thing. Is like you just want to fucking like flail your arms around and shit, and you just can't.
Yeah, you're paralyzed. Imagine feeling all that shit, and all that stuff, and all the procedures, and hearing the people talk to you, and like being fully aware, but you can't move. You're stuck in your own body. Oh man, that's that's completely terrifying, man. Oh my
Yeah, that shit
goodness.
is horrifying, bro. I
No,
don't
I
know.
couldn't have gone through that. I would have been locked up. No, I would have had to go to the crazy house.
I'm not gonna lie. After that whole experience, I probably would have had to fucking Arkham Asylum wouldn't be able to hold me, bro. I would be cooked. That shit, because like that's the thing for me too, bro. Is like I'm claustrophobic. I guess you would say. Tight spaces where I can't move and shit like that. So just the thought of being like a vegetable or like being in like a state where I can't move my body, but I can still see, I can still hear, I can still think and all that. I can still feel everything, shit like that. That shit just fucking blows my mind how some people live like that, bro. Dude, it's fucking horrifying, dude. It's horrifying.
It's literally like sleep paralysis that your mind is awake, but your body isn't. So you're
Yeah.
just there struggling and you can't because you're pretty much your nervous system is shut off from everything else. Oh man, I would have gone crazy if I was that for 3 days like that. Oh my goodness, bro, just me for 2 minutes like that. No, I would have started. Oh my god, I can't even imagine that. Oh, I'd have to go to therapy.
Yeah, no, that's horrible. That shit is horrible. Um Either way, fucking that sucks to be this dude. To be honest with you, man. Like, You like they felt like he said that's one of the things he felt the goop that they put in his eyes. It's like lube or eye drops or something. Them trying to move his eyeballs and shit. Oh my gosh, that's fucking nasty. Oh my gosh, just thinking about that shit, bro. Ugh.
No, that shit's giving me freaking anxiety, and I'm not even part of that. Oh my good bro. I can't imagine that. That's got to be one of the scariest experiences you can ever have, bro. And I've had some scary ass experiences.
Yeah, no, that shit is cooked. But either way, like I said, sucks to be this guy. But that's another thing that I just saw a comment. This guy said, "For how much of the total 3 days were you conscious? I mean, did you not have periods of sleep? That sounds hellish. That's one of the things I was wondering is like, do you sleep? Like like you live the whole day, right? You're the whole day you're fucking conscious, but you can't move or anything. Do you just like close your eyes after like 8 hours and you just kind of go to sleep and then you wake up the next day and the same like what the fuck do you you can't even close your eyes, so do you just stay awake or does your body just shut down by itself? I don't.
Oh man, no, that's gonna give me nightmares tonight. I don't even want to think of that shit. Oh man.
Yeah, bro, that's fun. This guy said, the poster replied to him. He said, "I can't say with absolute certainty, but I personally think I had cycles of sleep because most of my memories felt like during the day. And when I told my parents different memories, they told me which days those happened on. So I was aware each day and then blanked out, slept. It was pretty hellish. I told my parents to pull the plug on me if I ever actually went comatose because that was a hellscape."
Oh dear. Oh
Yeah.
dear, bro.
And then the dude responded, "Being aware but unable to move sounds like my worst nightmare. How much of your body sensations were you aware of beyond hearing? You said some things you noticed, but were you in pain or discomfort as well?"
Oh man, I can't even imagine that shit, bro. Dear Lord.
Yeah, and then somebody replied to that saying that the original poster posted in another comment that they could feel the pain from their joints stiffening when they were moved in weird positions. That's fucking
Oh.
terrifying.
Oh my gosh. So just imagine that you're awake and in pain and they're moving you and turning you and shit and you can't do anything. Oh my good. That's a nightmare, bro, right there. That's a literal nightmare.
Yeah, bro, that's bro, that's horrifying, dude. You can't. You're trying to scream. You're trying to fucking like let everybody know you're awake and you can't do anything. That's fucking terrifying. I had shrapnel removal surgery. This was another comment under the post. I had a shrapnel removal surgery a few years ago that I was awake but unable to move and felt everything. The anesthesiologist used an expired medication without realizing it. Last surgery I will ever let the Veterans Administration do on me. Had the other since all private hospitals had the other wait had the other since all private hospitals. I don't know what the fuck that means. Anyways, it's a horrible feeling I never want to repeat. The original poster replied saying, "God, that sucks. I'm so sorry. I'm not sure the reason I was awake yet. My only guess is because I was in the pediatric wing because my condition is congenital. That they may have used a dose meant for children. I'm not entirely sure, but it was a horrible. It was horrible wanting to scream and move, but being unable to. The only good thing I can say is the only pain I felt was when they would lay my body weird and I felt my joints stiffen, but my mom pointed it out to them and I was moved. But yeah, no, the paralysis is scary."
Oh my god.
That's the only pain he felt though. Is kind of interesting. I guess it like
That she should be grateful. Oh
yeah,
man.
bro. Bro, I would thank my mom so many times over if I when I woke up and I realized that she was the one who told them to like move me back. Bro, I'd be like, "Thank you, mom, thank you," because I would have been in fucking pain for a long fucking time without even people noticing that I'm feeling it.
Yo, bro. And bro, me, that I'm a huge shit talker. Oh my goodness, I bro, the second that they took me out of the medical coma, bro, I swear the first thing out of my mouth is going off on the doctors or nurses that were doing shit to me, bro, that made me uncomfortable. I swear that's the first thing coming out of my mouth. Not a, "Oh, so thankful to be alive and back," and this no. "You motherfucker, you had me so uncomfortable, I can't put" no.
Yeah, G, bro.
Oh,
Bro,
I
if I was
can't.
him though, G shit, the first thing I'm saying when I wake up is find me a fucking lawyer right now. Right fucking now, get me a lawyer.
Yo. Oh, man.
I'm fucking sucking the shit out of that fucking hospital dry. All it's worth, bro. I'm getting everything. But yeah, no, that shit would be horrible, bro. Horrible. Fucking sleep paralysis. I've had sleep paralysis before. That in and of itself was horrifying, but it lasted like 5 minutes and it was already terrifying. Imagine 3 days of that shit. Oh my gosh.
Oh man, oh god, I couldn't imagine, bro.
Yeah, bro. Poor guy. Poor guy. Fucking strong mind, I guess. But either way, that's all I really gotta say about it, buddy. I don't know if you wanna say anything else or you wanna move on.
Yeah, let's good. Glad you're better, buddy. Yeah.
For real, bro. Glad you woke up.
Ah,
All right, next
yeah.
post. We'll
Yes, sir.
do. Actually, we'll do a change my view. So, or actually, I kind of want to wait to see if George comes for these because these are more politically based, and George is kind of passionate on those things. Let me text that fool. Meanwhile, we will do the other true off my chest. So, true off my chest. I am tired of pretending I have everything together. I've been pretending for so long that I have everything figured out, but the truth is, I don't. Every day, I wake up and put on this mask, like I'm confident, successful, and in control. I show up to work with a smile, hang out with friends, and act like I've got it all together. But inside, I feel like I'm drowning. I'm constantly stressed, overwhelmed, and unsure of what comes next. I've got goals and dreams, but I also have doubts and fears that I can't seem to shake. I feel like I'm on the edge of burnout, and yet I keep pushing forward, pretending that I'm fine. The worst part is that no one knows the real me, the one who's scared of failing, the one who questions every decision, the one who is afraid of disappointing others. I don't want to keep pretending anymore. I want to be honest about how I'm feeling, but I am afraid of being judged or seen as weak. I've built this image of myself, and I am terrified that if I show the cracks, people will see me as unreliable or incapable. Welcome to the truth, or welcome to life as a man, brother. Welcome.
literally. Yeah. Yeah. So, did he give age?
No, not that I can tell. I don't see no age here.
Yeah. He sounds like he just had a little smack of reality, probably at a young age. He's probably 19, 20. Yeah, I mean, it's bound to happen, bro. I mean, at times you're not ready for shit, but then, sometimes the Lord and the world just says, you know what? Got to grow up, got to mature. Here you go. Boom. Here's some shit for you. Huh.
Yeah, bro. I mean, at the end of the day, that's life as a man. You know what I mean? Uh, you know, it's tough, especially to those who are more emotionally based. Um, Sorry, excuse me. Sorry, I was trying to text George. Just to especially to those who are more emotionally kind of inclined, I suppose. You know, if you grew up with a lot of women in your life, or you grew up with a lot of that type of shit, or maybe you're more into the um, you're more feminized, I suppose. It'll probably hit you a little harder. But as for his description of everything, I mean, that's life as a man, bro. That's life as a man. You're gonna be expected to be provider. You're gonna expected to be a protector. You're gonna have things expected of you that maybe is unfair. You know, it could very well be unfair. It could be something that is not uh what's the word? Not like I said, it could be unfair. It could be unfair. I mean, I don't really know what else I would really say about that, but it could be something that's unfair to you, or in your eyes, and it could very well be unfair in an objective sense. But life's not fair, and neither is life as a man, especially. So suck it up, suck it up. You're gonna have to figure out a way to move forward, and understand that instead of trying to kind of figure out a way to kind of make those thoughts and those doubts and the fears and all that shit disappear. Figure out a way to live with those things because they're always going to be there. There's always going to be a expectation. There's always going to be a mission or a goal or an objective, especially when you have a family. When you have a family, you got people depending on you at that point. people who aren't yourself. Like when you own a business, because apparently this guy says he has aspirations and he has dreams and stuff. If those dreams include employees at any point in time, you're gonna have even more people counting on you for their paycheck to feed their families. So at the end of the day, it's only gonna get harder from here, and you're gonna have to figure out a way to never have to lean on somebody else to tell those problems to, besides God himself. At the end of the day, that's why we have him. We give our problems to him, we give our troubles and our suffering, and we give it up to him because he's the one who suffered for us. So he's doing it on behalf of you, he's suffering on behalf of you. So at the end of the day, this is life. You gotta, like I said, instead of trying to figure out a way to make those bad things disappear, figure out a way to live with them. Figure out a way to coexist with those bad things, with those negative thoughts and those fears and those expectations. Um, all that shit just means that you understand your position and the importance of your position in life. Like I said, when you get a family, when you make your dreams come true, and if that's owning a business, if any of those dreams includes having employees or anybody who serves you in any way, shape, or form, again, you are going to have even more people that are looking at you for their survival, I suppose. So at the end of the day, again, things are only going to get harder. That's life. Figure it out. Move forward. If you feel like you're gonna crumble every single time you feel too overwhelmed or whatever the case, uh, then you're gonna fail at your dreams. You're gonna fail at life. You're gonna fail at everything that you set out to do. Uh, you know, there's always gonna be that edge where you feel like you're gonna fall off of it. You feel like you're gonna be, oh, this. What was the thing that he said? He said, um, I feel like I'm drowning. I feel like I'm on the edge of burnout. Yeah, there's gonna be those feelings when you feel like you're on the edge of burnout and shit like that. You gotta feel comfortable on that shit, bro. Because at the end of the day, you're always gonna feel like that, and again, it's only gonna get worse. You're gonna have to feel comfortable on that edge. That edge has to be a very comfortable seat for you, because you're gonna have to get used to that shit. But yeah, that's why they say be
Yeah.
a man. You know.
This is the first time I could probably say I agree with you, bro. Because I mean, at the same time, we all go through things differently, and he has aspirations. You know, shit's not easy, bro. Especially when you have, I don't want to say you're setting high goals for yourself or you're aspiring to have big achievements. That's really good. You need to have that, and you need to keep the motivation. But here's the thing, and it's so cliche, and it's everyone says it. There's different ways of saying it. But bro, the road to success is not easy, bro. You're gonna have several turns, potholes, you're gonna have several stops, you're gonna have everything. You're gonna have obstacles. But as long as you keep the motivation and you keep going through the failure, because you can't succeed until you fail, right? Like it's like in school, you have to fail a few tests to be able to properly learn. You have to fail in life to learn from it. You have to mess up to learn, right? For you to know that the you can't touch a hot pot, you have to mess up and touch the hot pot to realize, damn, this hurt. I shouldn't do that, and find a way to be able to grab it without it hurting. And you just have to keep doing that, especially as a young man. There's going to be a lot of pressure on you as a young man to be successful, not just for yourself, but for your future self, because it's not just doing it for the now, it's doing it for your future. So you could be comfortable, so you could be settled. That way, by the time you're an older, mature man, that you have everything set right. You have your house, you have your bills, you have your business running. That way, you can be friggin', let's say, 40 years old, relaxing at your house while the business takes care of itself. You pop in every once in a while, take your family out, and live life to how you aspire to live it.
Yeah. A couple things what came into my mind as well as I was hearing Maddie talk. Um, One of the biggest things is don't be too overly dependent on people.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, again, like Maddie was saying, like I was saying, life's just gonna get harder. Things are gonna get harder. It's not gonna get easier. um, things are just gonna get more difficult. And if you feel like you always need somebody to lean on, to speak to, or whatever the case may be, because otherwise you're gonna break. The moment that person leaves, you are cooked, and you no longer have that thing that keeps you from burning out, or that thing that keeps you from falling over the edge. Um, but if you learn how to not need that, or at the very least give it to somebody who's always going to be there, like Christ, um, like God, then you at least have that stability. But people people are not always going to be there, and people who are always going to, there's some people who might be, like for example your wife might always be there for you, could be the case. But it's also to a point where it's better off for your wife to not have to worry about the doubts you have in your head, because then inevitably it would probably make her doubt something in her head as well. And you want to, as a protector and as a provider, you want to be able to provide um, your wife the most stability in her brain, and also protect her sanity and her anxiety, or um, anything of the sort. Um, so at the end of the day, something I would say is, if you need somebody like that, go to the person who's always going to be there, who doesn't depend on you, but who loves you all the same, and that's God. And when it comes to like a way to burn off some steam or whatever the case, find a hobby. Find a hobby, bro. As guys, we, our lives are hard. We're gonna have to work hard and shit like that. But that don't mean we can't have a little fun, bro. Go, buy a gun, go shooting every now and again, or, you know,
Oh shit.
bro, not like that, bro. Not go shooting fucking school or some shit. No, no, no. Just, go to the shooting range. Have a little fun there, or go hunting. That's also really fun. Um,
Go
go
to
to the
the gym, play a
go to the
sport,
gym, play some sports with your
build
homies or some shit.
Legos,
Yeah, bro.
cooks. Oh, there's so many options. Start off with go shooting.
Hey, bro, listen, I love shooting, and that's one thing for me that definitely clears my mind when I'm on the range, bro, and all I'm thinking about is hitting the fucking center of that target. That's all I'm thinking about. I don't got nothing else on my mind. I'm not thinking of the troubles in the world. I'm not thinking of the bills I got to pay, or the people, or the mouths I got to feed, or whatever the case. All I'm thinking about is the gun in my hand and the target, uh, fucking 50 feet out that I got to hit. Um, and life is a lot better when that's all you're thinking about. You know what I mean? So if you need that, kind of, you know, I suppose that little burst of serenity, find a hobby, bro. Find a hobby. Like I said, the gym. Play some video games with your homies. Go play some sports with your homies. Go to the shooting range,
Go
or
airsofting, go
go, yeah,
paintballing.
go. You just find something that'll clear your mind from that type of shit. Because when you have fun, 9 times out of nine, you're not going to be thinking about the shit that's bringing you down. You know what I mean? Um, but yeah, like I said, bro, that's life as a man. Deal with it. Get comfortable. That edge that you're feeling, you're on the edge, you're about to fall off. Get comfortable on that fucking edge, bro. Because your life is always just going to be a game of seeing if you fall off. But if you get comfortable on that edge, you know, you'll be as close to the edge as you can be, and you'll be chilling, sitting down, having a drink or some shit. You'll be relaxed. It won't bother you as much. And when those bad thoughts, or those feelings of anxiety, or whatever the case, when those things become things that you live with rather than trying to eradicate from your life, they become more like friends. And you understand that when you feel those things, it's because you're alive. It's because you're still chugging on. You know what I mean? If there's no fire in that engine, that means it's not running anymore. But the fire you feel, that heat that you feel, and you're in the kitchen, like, that's how you know you're still going. You're still chugging. You're still running. That engine is still pumping. You know what I mean? Um, so yeah, bro, just get comfortable with it. Get comfortable, and don't be afraid to fail, because failure is not what makes you a failure. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's all I got to say about that, at least for what I can think of at the moment.
Yes, sir.
Little
We gave
motivational
him the best
speak.
yeah, we just gave him the best motivational speeches we could.
Damn. Yeah, a little motivational speech for the man himself. If he's a young guy, bro, listen. If you're a young guy, bro, I'm 21. All right. Um, I want to have a family. I want to do, I want to do a lot of big things in my life as well. I have a lot of big dreams. Um, and oh, that's another thing I was thinking about as well that I was gonna say. I have a lot of big dreams, and I want to have a family, so I'm gonna have a lot of mouths to feed. A lot of people who are depending on me. I want to have a business, so a lot of people who are gonna be depending on me as well. On in that sense as well. Bro, listen. When it comes to that feeling of anxiety of nobody knows who you are, nobody listens to you, and things of this nature, uh, the thing that'll make it feel the best is when you're able to provide your family with everything they need or want. Or you get them to a point where they're comfortable and they're living life good, and they don't even have a care in the world. When you see those smiles, when you see those when you come home from work tired as fuck, and you have your little girl running to you and calling, screaming for daddy because she missed you the whole day, you're gonna realize it's all worth it, bro. It's all fucking worth it. But yeah, that's all I gotta say, bro. Got anything else to say, Maddie? Or you want to move on to the next thing?
Let's move it on.
All right, just a little bit of an announcement for the listeners. Georgie will not be making it today. The guy is um he his pussy hurts, so that's the reason. All right, so next thing, change my view. So this is the one I wanted, or these are the things I wanted Georgie for, because he's definitely more passionate about the political shit. That boy is like my mom or my dad on Facebook all the fucking time, and oh, look what I read on Facebook. This is what I read on Facebook type shit. Anyways, change my view. The United States can never have normal relations with allied nations again unless the current Republican Party is dissolved. The way I see it, Trump has done massive harm to the trust between the US and her allies. Trade wars and threats of annexation are a serious matter and will have long reaching consequences, long after Trump is dead or leaves office. The reason I believe that we will never have normal relations again until the current Republican Party is dissolved is because every other nation now sees that a party hell bent on ruining relations is likely to win other elections. This sets a standard of inconsistency, and no reasonable nation will take that risk. For as long as we have a Republican Party that refuses to see facts and does everything in their power to isolate us from the world, other nations will not trust us. Until we show that we hold our people accountable, other nations will not trust us. Every single elected official that is in an election denier supported Trump's illegal movements and knowingly helped put innocents in danger need to be charged with treason, especially Trump. All right, buddy, what do you think about that?
Huh. Well, I mm, here's here's what I like. It's that everyone's got their own type of view sets based on the information that they're fed or given by the media, given by social media platforms, given by other people who might or might not misinterpret or not fully understand certain information or policies of certain politicians, especially the president. Um, I think that if I'm just trying to like word this correctly, if yo, how can I say this?
I mean, buddy, if you need a little moment so you can think it through a little bit and
Yeah, because I don't want to waste time
no,
because
you're
I'm
fine,
trying
you're
to
fine,
like
no problem.
construct it. If you can you give your answer, bro? Because
Yeah,
I'm trying to like
I'll give my take, and you can um kind of cook up your answer while I'm doing that. I think first things first, we gotta kind of take this or break this apart a little bit because he said a lot of bullshit, but we'll break it apart. The way I see it, Trump has done massive harm to the trust between the U.S. and her allies. Trade wars and threats of annexation are a serious matter and will have long-reaching consequences long after Trump is dead or leaves office. So first things first. Trade wars, that's a bit of a buzzword there. The only thing that Trump is trying to do here, from what I can see, and listen, I'm not a Trump guy. I don't necessarily adore Trump. I don't like. I'm not a big fan of Trump as a person, but his policies are good so far, and I think that in the long run, it's going to lead us in a good direction rather than in a bad direction. What he's trying to do is bolster up the American economy. He's trying to bring about fairness for the American taxpayer, for the American companies. At the end of the day, when it comes to the tax or the tariffs that he's implementing on other countries, things like trade or phrases like trade wars are a very big buzz phrase. It's just to derive attention away from the fact of the matter that is we have been abused by countries like Mexico, like Canada, a lot of European countries, by Russia, by China, a lot of different countries we've been abused by when it comes to trade, when it comes to taxes, when it comes to imports and exports. We've been abused on both ends. And what Trump is trying to do is even the playing field. He's saying, listen, we're the biggest country in the world. We are the world's biggest superpower, and yet we're getting fucked in the ass like we are a child in comparison. This is not fair.
God.
Yeah, this is not fair. This is not. Oh, that actually came out really bad. Not like
Yeah,
I'm a
that's why.
child. Not like we're a child. More like we are the bottom bitch. We are the submissive bitch. When that's not the case. Like I said, what he's trying to do is bring about the fairness of the trade, tariff, taxes, um, system that the world has going on with the United States of America. That's what he's doing. That's from what I've seen. He hasn't been implementing taxes or tariffs that have been going over what the other countries are doing on us. He's simply just evening the playing field, which other past presidents have failed to do. To be honest, you haven't even had the balls to do. So to me, all that this is doing is showing that the United States of America will not be bullied anymore, will not be dominated in trade and in, like I said, imports and exports anymore. We are a country that will show our superiority and our dominance in the world stage, uh, which is why the Canada, the Canadian Prime Minister saying that our relationship with the United States is over, or whatever the case, that's going to hurt them in the long run. And they're going to figure that out very, very soon if they decide to actually end relations with the United States. They're going to figure that out very, very soon. That it will destroy their economy, it will destroy their government, it will destroy their nation in general. Um, to do that, because the thing about us is that we give these countries way too much without receiving a fair end of the bargain. They are abusing the system that we've allowed them to abuse, and now Trump is not allowing that anymore. So when it comes to the other thing, which is the annexation of different countries, what he's talking about is Trump wanting to add Greenland as a state of the United States, or at least a territory of the United States of America. He wants to do the same thing with I forgot what other country. Fuck, damn. Canada as well. Yeah, Canada. I forgot what other country. There was one more other country, but I forget. These locations are very strategic when it comes to war, when it comes to the world stage. Russia literally has access to the United States through Canada. All they got to do is cross the 5 mile long little ocean thing straight, or whatever the case, from Russia to Alaska, and yeah, they have a nice little open area there. What Trump is trying to do with that is create more of a intelligent um, defense to the United States of America by expanding up north to Greenland and Canada, which to me again makes sense. Now, granted, the moment that he starts, if he were, let's just say in some world, hypothetically, he were to start to invade these countries against their, obviously against their will and whatnot, and forcefully taking it over, all right, then we have a little bit of an issue here. But um, he hasn't done that. Simply trying to make negotiations happen. He's trying to do this diplomatically, and I see no problem with that. Now, if you see a problem with that, then obviously you're just an emotional piece of shit who allows yourself to see, oh, he's trying to take over the world. He's like the H guy from World War II, and oh my gosh, he's such a racist. Like, just like I said, just a bunch of buzzwords that you will use. That's fine if you want to think that, but at the end of the day, you're wrong, and that's just what it is. So the next thing, that was a long-winded answer to that first paragraph. So the next paragraph, the reason I believe that we will never have normal relations again until the current Republican Party is dissolved is because every other nation now sees that a party hell-bent on ruining relations is likely to win other elections. This sets a standard of inconsistency, and no reasonable nation will take that risk. I don't understand how dissolving a party will even matter when the people who are a part of that party are still going to be in office. They're just not going to have the title of Republican. Now, if you're saying that you're never going to allow anybody with the views of a Republican to be in office at all, then that sounds pretty unconstitutional to me and doesn't seem like it would actually fit with the values of the United States government based around the Constitution. You'd probably fail in that endeavor. But just the dissolution or the dissolving of the Republican Party, I don't understand how that's even going to bring about any sort of uh, relaxation with other nations. Like those people are still going to be in office just because they're not called Republican. Like it's all good now. Like I don't know. I don't know. I mean, okay. I mean, if you want to try that, cool. Go ahead. It's not really going to change much. For as long as we have a Republican Party that refuses to see facts and does everything in their power to isolate us from the world, other nations will not trust us. Until we show that we hold our people accountable, other nations will not trust us. So, the Republican Party that refuses to see facts. Okay. Now, I'm not a person who will speak in monoliths, so I'm not going to say 100% of anything is true or 100% of anything is this or that. Um, but what I will say is that there's people on both sides, Democrats and Republicans, who don't see facts, who only look at what feels good for them, and who only look at what is on their perceivable side. There's a lot of people who are Trump lovers and fucking like they worship the guy. There's a lot of people like that on the Republican side. I understand, but equally, there's a lot of people who are very deranged on Trump derangement syndrome on the Democrat side. That's just a fact of the matter. And those people do not look at facts either. Uh, I don't understand how I really I'm gonna be charitable and say that this person is not trying to say 100% of Republicans think this way. But if that's the case, then you're more arseler than I had initially anticipated. Um, I don't understand who we're talking about when they say until we show that we hold our people accountable. I don't know if you are saying our politicians. I don't know if you're saying only Republicans, but whoever you're speaking of, there's going to be a lot of people on the Democrat side, which I'm assuming you're a part of, that will need to be held accountable as well. So, in full transparency, a lot of people on the Democrat side will also be, tasting a little bit of the hammer. So be aware of that and have fun with that as well. So, final paragraph. Every single elected official that is an election denier supported Trump's illegal movements and knowingly helped put innocents in danger and need to be charged with treason, especially Trump. Um, that's cool and all. What about when? You know what? I'm not even going to mention that because that's against TOS of YouTube. What about when Obama um, sent our troops to fight a war after we had already um,
Hold everybody out.
yeah, and not only that, but we had already gotten our intended target, which was Obama Sim Laden. So we got him, right? And we still fought a war that was for what? We invaded a bunch of different countries. Why isn't he charged with anything of the sort? What about when Hillary Clinton botched a removal of soldiers and which led to their eventual, demise? Um, I think that that's pretty treasonous in my opinion as well, considering the actions that she partook in that instance, which I'm not going to speak on because it's TOS. Um, yeah, politicians are nasty, politicians are dirty, but I'll tell you one thing, and I'm not going to say. I know people might twist this and say, "Oh, he's okay with the shit that happened in January 6th or whatever. I forgot. I think that's the date. January 6th when they did the revolution or whatever the case may be. Number one, a lot. I'm not even gonna say that actually. That's TOS. Number one, the people or the events that happened that day were not entirely, uh, filled with violence. There's a lot of protests, which apparently is okay in the Constitution of the United States of America. You want to know what else is okay? Another thing that's okay is for the citizens of the country to revolt if they feel an injustice has been committed. So if you're saying that you guys love to tout that the Constitution is the land, the law of the land, and this, that, and the third, if that's the case, the people who did what they did during January 6th should have been given the right to do so. I mean, at least that's what I understand from the Constitution of the United States of America. Why do we have the Second Amendment? In order to check the government if they abuse their power and abuse their citizens. That's why we have the Second Amendment. So, you know, if you're telling me only when you believe it's okay to do it, only when it's not against your party, then yeah, I don't know what to tell you. Because from what I recall, people from your party also tried to shoot our president, our current president, in his dome and tried to, assassinate the current sitting president of the United States of America before he was able to take his seat in the office. So, when it comes to treason, I think we don't see things eye to eye in this case. But other than that, the United States can never have normal relations with allied nations again. Yeah, they can. And I think when we end up having normal relations with allied nations again, it'll be a lot fairer for the United States of America. We won't be getting barebacked, fucked in the ass by other countries. We will actually have a fair share of what we're trading. So, other than that, that's all I have to say. Maddie, you have the floor now. If you have anything to say, otherwise we could just move it on. If you know, still don't have any thoughts on this, or maybe you do.
I'll just give a small little rebuttal or
Yeah, and I
answer.
and I know that that's like a. I'm sorry to interrupt, Maddie, but I know that was a super long answer, and I'm sorry to anybody who fell asleep
No.
during my fucking speech. But shit like this just kind of bugs me, you know. I mean, it doesn't piss me off or anything. I don't really get pissed off with people's r slurred takes, but it's just I understand this has changed my view, so I guess it's kind of the point. I'm here to change their view. So hopefully my response changed your view. And if by any chance this person, KV Dolphin, is listening to this show by whatever miracle, DM me on Instagram. We'll debate about it, and I'll change your view. Don't worry about it. But again, sorry for the very long response. Maddie, go ahead.
So pretty much, you said a lot of points that I'm not going to reiterate, but I will tag on a few things. It is true that there's been a lot of things done within the economical status between other countries and ourselves, where we've been getting taken advantage of, where we've been paying more to these other countries that are, around us or we're trading, where they're taxing us, let's say, 20% on all goods, and we're only taxing them 5%. So, and we're buying more of their shit versus them buying our shit. So it's like, how is that fair? Because where does the money that they're paying on these tariffs? It's being taken from your check, my check, everyone's check. And every time you go pump gas, every time you go eat, every time you buy anything, you get taxed. So that's where that money's being taken from. And what Trump is doing, and it's like Matt said, I'm not one of those people that live, breathe, and worship everything Trump does. No, he's a our president. He's doing good for the people now, especially everything he's done in the last 4 months. He's done astronomical, no, no, not astronomical. He's done extraordinary things. He's saved us a shit ton of money from being spent. He's not letting American tax dollars being taken advantage of by other countries' tariffs, and he's inviting other businesses, other non-American businesses, to partner with America. He told them when he expressed his tariffs and his taxes on all their goods, that either they can come to America and move their business to America, or they can be taxed up the ass. And what did they do? They're coming to America. Everything, according to sources, might or might not be true. Everything Apple is going to be made in America. Honda or Hyundai is coming to America. A lot of these other companies are coming to America to help one promote businesses because I don't know if anybody is aware, it is somewhat still difficult to look for a job, something that brings benefits, a good 9 to 5, a good full-time job. It's still hard. And he's helping all these businesses come here, which means more profit, less we have to pay. So a lot of the things that he's doing seem wrong to a lot of people for some reason, which I don't understand. When you look at the facts of how it's going to help us economically as not just a country but as individuals, that everything is going to get better for us. That once all these tariffs get into place and we come to an agreement versus being taken advantage of, because apparently a lot of people don't understand that for some reason America has been the piggy bank for a lot of countries and a lot of excuse me, and a lot of other other businesses and ideals like that. So a lot of things that this man is doing for that the president is doing for us is good. And just because a lot of people hate Trump because of things he said in the past and things he's doing or things he's done, you need to look at the bigger picture that yeah, everyone has their mistakes, but he's the first president in a while that is actually doing things for the American people, not just to make, all these other countries happy, not to make Canada happy, not to make Mexico happy, not to make all these countries happy. He's doing it for the American people and putting American people first. And I don't know about you, but that's what a great president should have done. And it's only going to reap benefits for the American people for times to come.
I agree. I mean, it kind of echoes what I was saying of at least on the end part there, when it comes to the whole, we're not the world's bitch anymore when it comes to trade and things of this nature, and we're also not the world's charity either. Uh, that's what Trump is doing here. He's making sure that we get our fair share and that we don't we pay our fair share, but also other countries do the same. When it comes to things like NATO, when it comes to things like the United Nations, um, other organizations that the United States has paid money in order to fund, other countries like European countries and countries in Asia, they don't really do pay they don't really pay as much as we do. We kind of give a lot more money than they do. So it doesn't really seem fair to me, and neither to Trump, why people, or why we would have to give more money than they would. So like I said, it's like Maddie said as well, it's to bring fairness and to no longer be the world's like bank, I suppose, or you know the world's charity. So yeah. Either way, that's all I have nothing more for that, buddy. Do you have anything else, or do you want to move on?
Yeah, let's keep on moving, buddy.
All right. This is the last change my view and the last Reddit post for the day. Republicans are the very thing they despise. Republican voters and conservatives are anything but. They elected a fascist authoritarian, a man who is, by his own admission, a dictator. They want a dismantling of our republic and democracy in favor of anti American, strong man authoritarianism. They voted for the most anti establishment candidate they know of, or that I know of, revoking the conservative dogma of actually conserving the status quo in favor of breaking it. They claim the libs are snowflakes when they are the ones that can't handle facts and debates, as we can see in r/conservative. They claim that mainstream media is biased against them, but Fox News is literally the most popular news program in the U.S. and the most biased, and they treat it like the gospel. They claim that Republicans are better at governing when that is demonstrate. Sorry, I can't fucking read. Demonst- Demonstrably, fucking hell, false at the federal, state, and local level. They claim to hate welfare, but they are some of the biggest recipients of government aid at the federal, state, and local level. They claim to be followers of Jesus Christ, but they act in a way that directly contradicts his teachings, such as love thy neighbor. Yeah, the Dems suck, and they can't come up with an alternative to the status quo, but Republican hypocrisy is something terrible to behold. You want to take it away, Maddie, or same thing as last time?
No, I mean, Well, what I don't understand about, because I guarantee you 90% of the information that this person is getting is from ABC, is from CNN. They're obviously not watching Fox News. They're not watching the facts, right? And the Republican Party is not anything close to everything that they hate. The Republican Party is for benefiting the American people. It's for setting boundaries. It's for saving lives. It's for valuing life. It's for protecting lives. It's for protecting the American people. It's about protecting America and her interests. You know, Republicans are for saving American people, starting American businesses, growing American entrepreneurship. It's about growing our economic status. It's about allowing the little guy the opportunity to do what he wants, to be able to become successful and grow from there. That's what the Republican Party is fighting for. That's what the Republican Party fights for. Your personal rights, your rights as a human, your rights as a taxpayer, and your right as an American citizen. So, for a lot of things to be said that the Republican Party is everything they grow to hate, or is everything they stand against, is ridiculous. We stand for saving lives. We're pro-life. Republicans are pro-life. Republicans fight for freedom, for your amendments, for you to be able to keep them. Because I don't know if anybody's aware, or if this person's aware, but for many, 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 many years, the Democratic Party has been trying to rid the American people of the Second Amendment, which, if anybody's not aware of why the Second Amendment is part of the Constitution, it's because in case the government is not fit to rule, this is not the right wordage or way to say it, but the reason it was added to the Constitution, and I believe 1772, was to overthrow the government in case the government is not providing the Americans' interests, meaning they basically turned communistic, right? Because we are based on democracy. That is what the Republicans are for. Good, clean democracy to benefit everybody. And Republicans haven't tried to take anybody's rights. They haven't done anything. We do everything for the best interest of people to make it fair for Republicans have made things fair for everybody, to have equal balances between men and women in jobs and sports and economical status and everything, and to have, babies being saved and to not be, terminated, you know uh Republicans, what I think that this person is thinking of is the extremists, because it's like every party, liberal, conservative, Republican, Democrat. There's always those extremists that take things to a whole nother level of crazy, where it's like, whoa, 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 whoa. We're just fighting for the right to, bear arms, but then people are like, no, you touch my shit, you touch my gun, you come for my guns or my speech, and I'll do this and that. Blah, blah, blah. Those crazy people you see, going like full Karen mode on certain things. I don't think Republicans are everything they're against. I think that that is should be more said about the Democratic and liberal side, because, you know, especially with everything of most recent times, back when I forgot, Matt, what president was it that says we had to that we all had to end up buying electric cars? Was it Biden? Or
Yeah, I think it was Biden, yeah. But it was a lot of
well,
senators first, and then it was Biden who like implemented it.
right. So the Democratic Party wanted to put into effect a law. I believe it was a law that everyone has by like 2030, everyone has to own electric cars, so that, the environment and pollution or whatever, this and that. So what happened? Everyone, that could, was getting a Tesla. Everyone was investing in Tesla. Everyone was doing this and that, and all these hybrids and all this, all these brand name brand cars. But let's focus on Tesla. All these Democrats were giving money to Tesla, Elon Musk, this and that, buying Tesla stock, buying Tesla cars, ordering this and that. But then the second Elon Musk becomes the part of Doge, and is pretty much giving, excuse me, giving us statements of, Hey, American people, we've been spending and sending billions and billions of dollars unnecessarily for all this ridiculous stuff. We're cutting that shit out. But and then Democrats immediately, what do? They start torching uh excuse me, Tesla dealerships, Tesla cars. They start destroying, somebody's parked their Tesla in their front of their house, they're destroying it, setting it on fire, exploding it, which I don't know if any of these people are aware, but those cars use lithium ion batteries. You can't just put out a lithium ion fire with water. It takes special chemicals so that it could burn and burn and burn for a long time, which causes even more pollution in case they are unaware. And they're the ones that have, and the Democratic and liberal side have been the ones to totally flop. I don't remember any termination attempts on Joe Biden or Obama or any Democratic Party from a Republican person, right? But the second Trump starts running for office, there was what, two or three, or probably more. I think it was like four or five termination attempts. One almost succeeded from people who hated Trump, who had the whole Trump hate, dysphobia, whatever that shit they call it is. Um, from Democrats, from the Democratic and liberal side. And they're the ones that are saying, no, every life is valuable. You should never resort to violence. You should never do this and that. But then, and even in today, Democratic senators and leaders are in the streets protesting and promoting violence when Republican candidates and Republican leaders and senators have been saying the complete opposite from day one. So it's just it's real crazy to me that Republican Party people that the Republican Party is being called hypocrites and monsters and this and that when we haven't been starting fires, we haven't been destroying businesses, we haven't been gloating about an American business losing money. We should be sad that a huge American business that's worldwide is losing business. That's not good for the American economy. And I think this person should really look at the facts of who the real hypocrites and everything that they stand against, who really turned into the two face, who's really showing their true colors, that they only care about their own interests and only want their way, or that's it, my way or the highway. So I know I was babbling on, but my bad. But you
Oh no,
go
buddy,
ahead, Matt.
don't worry about it. It's good that you give your opinions and stuff, buddy. But as for me, again, I think I'm gonna have to go through this one point at a time. So let's just jump into it. Republican voters and conservatives are anything but. They elect a fascist authoritarian, a man who is, by his own admission, a dictator. They want a dismantling of our republic and democracy in favor of anti-American strongman authoritarianism. So starting with that point, isn't that okay? Um, let's just say and assume for a fact that, or for a moment, that everything this person is saying, let's just call this person a gender neutral name, so I can refer to this idiot as something other than idiot or this person. Let's see, Maddie, you have a suggestion for a gender neutral name here?
Kendall.
All right, let's. So the thing that Kendall's saying here is that, or rather, sorry, let's assume for a moment that everything that Kendall is saying about Trump and about the voters who voted for Trump is true. Let's just say it. And supposedly, according to them, democracy and our republic is a big thing for them. Kendall loves our democracy and they love the republic of this nation. Wouldn't it be the right of each and every person who voted for this authoritarian dictator to vote for them? Isn't that the a use of your democracy that you love so much? What is a democracy? The ability for the American people, in this case the American people, to choose who they want to elect or who they want to run and make decisions in their government. That's what a representative democracy is, which is what we have here, right? I don't really understand how when we do that, right? The American people who voted for Trump, we do that. We did that. We elected Trump. We voted. We used the democratic means. We used democratic means in order to elect a man who you don't like, who Kendall doesn't like very much. Why is that a bad thing? If you love democracy so much, why is it a bad thing when we use democracy in order to put somebody in office that we like? I guarantee you that if Biden, or rather, sorry, if Kamala would have won, and we would be saying that Kamala is a threat to democracy, you'd probably be saying we elected her. It was democracy that put her in here. And that's completely fine. We did the same thing. Democracy is what you want to protect. Democracy is what we used in order to bring this man here. Now, if you love the government so much, because you're a little Dem, the government has a check and balance, right? There's no conceivable way that he will be allowed to be a dictator in the literal sense of the word. Now that he's going to be a very direct and a very blunt character as the president of the United States, he's not going to sugarcoat things in order to protect your feelings. These are things that are true. And if you want to say he's a mean guy, if you want to say he's a meanie and he's not a nice guy, then cool, you can say that all you want. But as for being a dictator, that's not really the truth of the matter. That doesn't really track when it comes to the actual definition of the word dictator. Now, as for a fascist authoritarian, you're going to have to define those words for me because those are really big buzzwords. An authoritarian, I don't see a problem with being an authoritarian. You have certain rules and you are very authoritative in the way that you implement those rules. I don't see a problem with that at all. If anything, we need more authoritarians so that we can actually maintain the rules of this country and keep the spine that we have as a nation intact. Rather than being spineless and not authoritarian, people could just do whatever they want at that point. So, if you're so pro-democracy, you're so pro-republic, we used the republic nature of this country, the democracy nature of this country, in order to elect the man we wanted in office. Why is that a bad thing? Because you simply don't like him? Or because you simply think he's a dictator or an authoritarian fascist? It sounds like it sucks to fucking suck. It sucks to be you. It sounds like. We elected him. We voted for him using the system that you love so much. Deal with it. Or, here's another idea. Abolish the democracy system. Implement an authoritative government. And see which one wins out. Let's see who wins. But you won't do that because you love democracy. But when we use democracy to elect somebody you don't like, it's a problem. All right, we see the absolute smooth brain of Kendall and their position. They voted for the most anti-establishment. Okay, so this is Kendall speaking. They voted the most anti-establishment candidate that I know of, revoking the conservative dogma of actually conserving the status quo in favor of breaking it. So, when it comes to this, when it comes to Kendall's viewpoint on the fact that we voted for the most anti-establishment candidate that we know of, revoking the conservative dogma of actually conserving. Now we have to figure out, what are we trying to conserve, right? What are the things that conservatives are trying to conserve here? It sure as shit is not transgenderism. It sure as fuck is not LGBTQ things. We are most certainly not trying to conserve abortions. We are certainly not trying to conserve hookup culture. We are certainly not trying to conserve the big spendings that we've been doing on stupid things like DEI. We are certainly not trying to conserve these things. And these things, in my eyes, from what I've seen, it seems this way at least, have become somewhat of a status quo in today's society. It seems like these things have become status quo. So when it comes to being conservative, it seems to me like what we're trying to conserve actually falls in line with the conservative nature, and that is traditional natures of the human race. And like I said, from what I can see right now, and Maddie, you can tell me if I'm wrong or right here, it seems like the things that are status quo today aren't really the traditional things that have worked for centuries. Am I wrong about that, or am I right?
You're 100%.
All right. The things that we see today are not at all the things that have worked for hundreds and hundreds of thousands of years, or sorry, thousands and thousands of years. Although, to be honest with you, hundreds of thousands of years as well. But it hasn't worked, or these are not the things that have worked for thousands of years. These are new ideas that have been brought by people like the feminist movement, the LGBTQ movement, all these different ideas, DEI, the race revolution, or whatever the case may be, all these different new ideas that have become the status quo, which is what conservatives are trying to dismantle. That is what we're actually trying to dismantle. And I don't really see how him being an anti establishment candidate is such a bad thing. Again, this is just another thing that you just don't like. You don't like him for being anti establishment because the establishment is what you support. If the establishment was nuclear families, if the establishment was you will get ahead based off of how good you are, not what you look like, if the establishment was fair and honest taxation, fair and honest use of our taxpayer money, if um if the establishment was foreign affairs that actually benefit the nation, both nations as much as possible, if this is what the establishment was and Trump was trying to dismantle that, then I would tell you right now, yeah, he's kind of cooked. To be honest with you, I probably wouldn't have even voted for him. But the fact of the matter is that that's not the establishment. The establishment has been perverted. The establishment has been destroyed for a new modern view of what this establishment should be. That's what he's trying to dismantle, and I'm all the more for. I'm completely there with him, 100% there with him. Let's dismantle this fucking trash ass establishment that has come about almost a yearly from recent memory, years of millions of abortions, babies losing their lives, DEI up the ass, LGBTQ kids getting transed up and all this type of shit. Yeah, I'm definitely for dismantling this establishment for damn sure, 100%. And I'm so grateful that we have a president in the office that is willing to do these things. And I am extremely, all the more grateful that somebody like Kendall here is recognizing this, because that's a big win for conservatives as we try our very best to conserve traditions that actually worked, not the shit that people have tried to implement today. Now let's keep moving on. They claim the libs are snowflakes when they are the ones that cannot handle facts and debates, as we can see in r/conservative. So yeah, the libs are very snowflakey. I mean, just try to talk to any lib about anything they disagree with. You'll see how snowflakey they are. Except the difference is they're actually more violent than what I've seen conservatives be. But this is all just general talk. I could be wrong about that. This Kendall person could be wrong about what they're saying. At the end of the day, this is all this is all personal experience. So we cannot falsify or prove this in any way, shape, or form. There's no facts to be talked about here. You can say that you went on the Reddit thread for conservatives and all you experienced were people being complete assholes and they never wanted to have conversations and this, that, and the third. If that's the case, then I don't know what to tell you. Maybe those people in the Reddit post, who probably maybe less than 1,000 people on a daily basis, are not really the best representatives of what the conservative party actually is, or what the conservative movement actually is. I don't understand. That's like me saying, "Oh, white people are so shit." I mean, look at this small, tiny island of white people, and look what they do to their own people. They sacrifice them. It's like, okay, so I'm looking at this small, tiny island of white people, but then there's hundreds of other countries that house white people and they seem to be doing all right. So am I going to generalize all white people because a small island of white people are doing really bad shit? Probably not. That doesn't sound very intellectually honest to me. So now we move on to the next thing. They claim that mainstream media is biased against them, but Fox News is literally the most popular news program in the United States and the most biased, and they treat it like the gospel. So we got to be, again, we're going to get back to this word, intellectually honest with ourselves here when we say that when it comes to the mainstream media, we're not really talking about people like ABC or CNN, because almost no voter today watches that shit unless you're like over the age of fucking 60 years old or some shit like that. Most people today get their news from TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, all that type of shit. And a lot of times in those different sites, things like Reddit as well, people get their news from fucking Reddit as well. A lot of the times in these different social media platforms, it's definitely skews left. 110% it skews left. Um, and so when people get their news from this one or these this very small group of social media sites and it skews left, yeah, we're going to claim that the mainstream media in this case is biased, considering the media that you consume is left leaning as fuck. Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, fucking Facebook, these are very left leaning sites. A lot of people are on there who are left. I mean, look at the biggest Twitch streamers that are political streamers. Hasanabi is one of the biggest examples. That dude is hella left, and he's one of the most popular streamers on right now that are political commentators. Yeah, this it's not like there are a couple of conservatives that are becoming more popular as time goes on, and I hope they get much more popular than all these like Destiny and Hasanabi and all these people. But for now, Democrats dominate the YouTube space, the Twitch space, all this type of shit. Most people get their news from those sites. So yeah, we're going to claim that the mainstream media is definitely biased against us. And when it comes to Fox News, like I said about CNN and ABC, majority of the fucking viewership for Fox News is 60-year-olds and above, senior fucking citizens. You think the young generation are fucking watching this shit? Of course not. Now, again, I'm not going to say 100% because, of course, there's probably a couple of them who are watching that shit. But for the most part,
I watch Fox.
yeah, I mean, you got there's obviously going to be people who watch that shit. But for the most part, yeah, I don't think the young people, the young generation, are watching news on TV anymore. They're on YouTube. They're watching fucking Piers Morgan. They're watching fucking Candace Owens. At least the conservative ones. They're watching Candace Owens. They're watching Brett Cooper. All this type of shit. They're watching Ben Shapiro. They're watching Matt Walsh, Michael Knowles. That's who they're watching. They're not watching Fox News. Are you crazy? But again, less intellectually honest things, and they treat it like the gospel. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I will be honest here. See, this is how you know I'm definitely impartial. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. The people who watch Fox News, they do kind of treat it like the gospel sometimes. But anyways, we move on. I'm gonna try to get through this really fast. I know I've been talking for a long time. They claim that Republicans are better at governing when it is demonstrably false at the federal, state, and local level. Yeah, I mean, you're just saying that, so you haven't really provided any facts or anything like that. But what I can tell you that we've actually been able to observe, Biden came into office and everything went to shit. So there you go. Anyways, we move on. They claim to hate welfare, but they are some of the biggest recipients of government aid. That might be true, but so what? So fucking what? What does that got to do with anything? That doesn't mean that we can't hate fucking welfare, or at the very least, the way it's being abused. Who the fuck gives a shit that Republicans are the ones who use it the most? Call us hypocrites. That's fine. Who gives a shit? At the end of the day, we can still dislike a system of government that is abusing its people, or at the very least, that is leading towards the decline of the economic system, or whatever the case may be. We move forward. They claim to be followers of Jesus Christ, but they act in a way that directly contradicts his teachings, such as love thy neighbor. I could not wait to get to this point because this is something that it irks me a lot. It definitely bothers me. It definitely tickles my nose hairs to where I just want to rip my nose off. Yeah, when it comes to love thy neighbor, I've spoken on this in a prior episode of the show. When it says love thy neighbor, people think that love means being nice. People think that love means let me not make you feel bad. No, you fucking snowflake. This is exactly why we call you snowflakes. Love means we're here to tell you the fucking truth, whether you like it or not, whether it makes you happy or sad, whether it makes you feel good or feel bad. We are here to tell you what the truth is so you can save yourself, so that you can allow Jesus to save your soul. This is what love is. Not being nice, not allowing you to do whatever it is you want, because we can't sit here and tell you that you're just wrong, because then we'll make you feel bad, and we can't have that because we're nice. That's not what love is. That's not what being a follower of Jesus Christ was, because if that was the case, then he himself would be wrong by walking into the temple and calling all of those Pharisees a band of snakes. That sounds pretty mean to me, but he did that anyways. Why? Because it's the truth. It's the reality, which is the most loving thing you can do, is tell somebody the truth. With that said, let me finish off by reading the final sentence that Kendall put in this post. Yeah, the Dems suck, and they can't come up with an alternative to the status quo, but Republican hypocrisy is something terrible to behold. But yet, you are the one that just claimed that Republicans are worse at the federal, state, and local level. But you just claimed at the end that Dems suck and they can't come up with an alternative to the status quo. Make it make sense, Kendall. Or here's a better alternative. Shut your fucking mouth and stop talking about shit you don't understand. With that said, I will yield my time. That's all I gotta say about that shit. That's my rant and my TED talk. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I apologize for speaking so much. If you fell asleep during this, let's get back to the regularly scheduled programming. All right, Maddie. I don't know if you have anything else further to say, or if you want to just move it on.
Nah, buddy, I said what I said my piece on that.
All right, buddy. That's wonderful. Um, one of the things that I kind of wanted to touch on. That's kind of what I've kind of been seeing recently. Just moving away from the whole political, or at least when it comes to the whole Republican, Democrat, Trump, you know, whoever the fuck else talk. Um, one of the things that I kind of wanted to speak on. There was, Lily Phillips. We know who that is. She's the woman who slept with like 1,000 men or 100 men or some shit like that. She's been very active on social media recently, sleeping with even more men. So I mean, obviously, we knew this to be the case. This kind of brought up a question in the comments of one of these posts that I kind of wanted to speak on with Maddie. I wanted to see his perspective on this. I also wanted to see George's perspective, but he's not here. I mean, at this point, it's pretty much just me and Maddie on this fucking show because George hasn't been here for like fucking four shows now, back to back. But either way, Maddie, I have a question for you, buddy. When it comes to the OnlyFans epidemic that we see today, when it comes to the rise of OnlyFans, the rise of this degenerate behavior that is pornography and is sex work, quote unquote sex work, and all this type of shit. Who do you think men are at fault for what we have seen this um, industry become?
100%.
Do you think? Sorry, let me ask the question better. Do you think they're more at fault than women, or
Yes.
than the women who are doing it?
No, I think that men are more at fault than the women.
You think men are more at fault than the porn stars themselves, or
A
the what's
a
it called?
100%.
And why would you say that, buddy?
Because of course, they're the target audience, and if let's say the first ten girls to ever do OnlyFans made hundreds of thousands or thousands of millions, then a bunch of other girls would have been like, you know what? If there's that many lonely guys, or not even lonely guys, probably guys in relationships, I'm sure guys use that shit too. Oh, if there's so many guys that I could sell, 10 pictures of my butt for like $20 each, and I know that these guys will buy it. I want to make $100 in 5 minutes, and if let's say 50 guys buy all of them, shit, you just made a couple thousand in one night. And if they know that they have the target audience of all these men constantly going to buy, of course they're gonna do it because it's like, oh, it's free money, and I know there's always gonna be these lonely dudes or these guys that don't care about wasting all their money on our pictures and videos of me doing things or me doing customs and me posting this and that. You know, since they're the target audience, they're the main ones to blame because if it wasn't so successful in the girls' perspective from all the guys buying all their shit, spending all this money, then they wouldn't do it anyway. Because if it didn't work, if us men, or not us, if men didn't give in and didn't do it, shit, OnlyFans would have died out fucking whenever it started.
I mean, I understand what your position is. It's like if there's no demand, there's no supply. Um, and would that be a good description of your position? If there's no demand, there's no supply.
I suppose, yeah.
Uh, so yeah, I understand your position. My rebuttal to this position would just be, what would you think in this case would be easier to, um, I suppose, crack down on? Do you think it would be easier to crack down on the consumers or the producers of this stuff?
Would it be easier to crack down on the consumers or the producers?
Yeah.
I think it would be easier to crack down. I mean, we've already seen it. I think it would be easier to crack down on the consumers,
I mean,
100%.
we have, but also we haven't, because they ban different sites or whatever, but there's still Twitter. People watch it on Twitter. People watch it on even on Reddit. I've seen a lot of posts of people watching that shit on Reddit. There's a lot of different places where people can get theirs. Even OnlyFans. I mean, OnlyFans is still legal in the state of Florida. I mean, you could just all you have to do is just buy it. You know what I mean? So, um, the it's I mean it's still accessible. Pornography is still accessible, and these OnlyFans
Yes.
models are still going to get money from people from Florida, even though we have blocked some access to some sites. On top of the fact that some pornographic sites are still available and open, um, some sites have been restricted, taken down from Florida at least. But people can still get access to these things. So if you had to think about it when it comes to the eradication of this thing, this industry, what do you think would be easier to eradicate? The producers of this content or the consumers of this content? Would you still say it's the consumers?
I suppose I would because I mean at the end of the day it's like if there's no demand there's no supply. But I mean I think unfortunately that this type of industry of like OnlyFans, pornography, and all that type of stuff, I think that that's always going to be a business that has that is successful. I think that it's always going to be there's always going to be something there, like regardless if it's actual
Yeah,
pornography
it's
or
always
if
going to
it's
exist. It's always going to exist.
yeah, it's always going to exist regardless if it's like regular PG rated stuff, PG-13 versus the R rated or the X rated stuff. It's
I
always going to be
agree,
that. Mhm.
but there's still a possibility to criminalize these things, right? So it's like, like there's going to be people who do drugs, right? There's going to be people who do coke or whatever the case. But we can still outlaw these things. We can still make them illegal and criminalize the people who are dealing these things or doing these things or in possession of these things. The same way we do it with CP, if you know what I'm trying to say when it comes to that, right? You know what that means?
CP.
Child, yeah.
Okay, okay.
So when it comes to that, people are definitely still going to be doing that, and there's still going to be a distribution of that content as well. But we can definitely criminalize it. We can make it illegal. We can make it so that if you are found with that, if you're consuming that, you will go to prison. If you are creating that, definitely you'll go to prison. Um, you know, so when it comes to the whole argument of, it's going to be there regardless, that doesn't mean we can't legislate against it. You know what I mean? So when it comes to the legislation against these things, would it be easier to legislate against the people who are it's like, for example, when it comes to drugs, would it be easier to legislate against the people who are doing these drugs, or would it be easier to to crack down on the people who are selling the drugs or who are producing the drugs?
Damn. I mean, I guess it would be easier to crack down on the people who are selling the drugs.
Yeah, the producers and the dealers of said drug are going to be easier to crack down on. Um, because at the end of the day, if there's no drugs in the market, the consumers of the said drug are not going to be able to have anything to consume. Um, Now there will always be consumers, right? But there are going to be way less producers and dealers than consumers when it comes to drugs, when it comes to pornography. Um, there are you would agree with me that there are much less producers and dealers of pornography than there are consumers of pornography, right? There's way more consumers, right?
Oh, 1,000%. Yeah.
Yeah, 100,000%. There's way more consumers than there are producers. So it would logically track, if you would agree with me, that in order to, or rather to crack down on these things, it would be easier to crack down on the producers since there are much less of them, right?
I suppose, yeah, it would be easier to crack down on them. Yeah.
Yeah, and if you get it right at the source, which are the producers and the consumers, um, You get them right at the source, the rest of it kind of just kills itself. Now, granted, obviously there probably will be a black market and whatnot, but we can criminalize these things, and we can make it so that it's treated the same thing as drugs or CP, and in doing so, repair the um, the idea on sex that we've put in our current society. Same thing with prostitution as well, like street prostitution or like escorts and all that type of shit. It's becoming more popular today. It's becoming more accepted and all that type of shit. When before, you'd probably get fucking, you'd probably get really fucked up for like being caught as a prostitute or shit like that. Um, yeah, I mean I don't know. It's just it seems like we're regressing. We're going backwards. Um, but for me, I definitely would have a different take than you. I would say there's more responsibility that falls on the women who produce these things than the men who consume it. Um, considering again the women who produce these things are the ones. It's like, for example, with any sin, right? There's a like, I forgot what the actual term biblically is. It's like a tripping stone or something like that. You don't want to be the you don't want to be the stone that trips up your neighbor. Um, and these women are exactly that. They're the ones creating the things that are making people fall and trip and be tempted and fall to their temptations. It's these women who are doing these things. So I definitely would say that, especially with people nowadays trying to be all women and men are equal, then they should have equal responsibility. And they're definitely more responsible for what they're doing than men who are consuming what they're doing, in my eyes. On top of the fact that again, it would be easier for us to crack down on those producers of pornography than it would be for the consumers. There's way too many consumers, just way too many for that to even be the case. But that's my perspective. But I don't know if you disagree with me, buddy, or if you do, um, you know, let me know your perspective on it, buddy.
I mean, yeah, I can definitely see your viewpoint. I'm like 50-50 on it, but at the same time, you know, I can say the same thing about, McDonald's, right? It's garbage food, it's processed up the ass, it's too chemicalized, it's not good for you. There was even a study of, a person who ate strictly McDonald's for, several, like a couple of weeks, and he had liver failure and kidney failure and all this because of all the chemicals and harmful things in it, but they still sell. They still make a lot of money, not because of anything, but it's because that it's McDonald's rights to, they have a target audience, the big backs, the people who want to have the late night chicken nuggets or the double cheeseburger and this and that. Because while it is good, it's still harmful to you, which I'm not saying, pornography is good, but it is harmful for you. It'll desensitize you, it'll give you false reality of what, certain things are. It's not good for you in a mental sense. But I mean, you could compare it to fast food industry.
Could you
You know,
though? Could you? I mean, let me ask you a question. If I eat like a McDonald's burger every like once every like 2 3 months, is that like bad?
no, that would be acceptable.
If I watch pornography every now and again, is that bad?
No,
Or
I
would that
mean,
or would that be acceptable?
I guess it would be. I don't want to say it would be acceptable because I don't want to say, yeah, just go watch porn, go, go do this and that. Because at the end of the day, it's not good to watch. But I mean, everyone falls into temptation.
No,
Everyone
of course, of
has
course.
those weak moments. So it's not like,
But you, yeah, but
here's where the thing is: if it's every day, and you can't, like, if you can't live
no, but of
every
course that's
day
an
without
addiction. That's
having
an
your
that's an
double,
addiction, right? That's an addiction.
exactly, like
But
the
what what
point
I'm
is
what I'm
not
saying,
making an addiction.
yeah, but what I'm saying is, like, you know, eating a McDonald's burger every other month probably not a bad thing. It's fine. You can eat it. It's the same thing as eating a chocolate bar. It's not a bad thing every now and again. You know,
Right.
if you eat it every single day, that becomes a problem. But I would argue that even if you watch porn once every now and again, that is still a problem that could ruin relationships. It can ruin your psyche. It could ruin your respect towards the act of sex and all the things that it entails. Um, like I said, I would say that I would argue that even watching porn once every so often is definitely still bad. Which is where I would say there's a difference between the food industry, the fast food industry, and the pornography industry. Um, Eating a fast food burger every now and again, it's no problem. Watching a porn video every now and again, I would argue it's still a problem. Would you say that it's not though? Would you say that
No,
it's
100.
it's
No, here's the thing. I don't disagree with you, but I don't agree with you because at the same time, it's the pornography gives you a more mental and spiritual harm. Well, watching the pornography once every, let's say once every few months gives you the mental and spiritual damage and harm. Now, and having a McDonald's every, let's say, same time period gives you the physical. So at the end of the day, it's more, which one do you value more? Do you value your physical well-being or your mental and spiritual well-being? Which is why that and your moral, well-being, that's where the main problem comes from. Because eating a cheeseburger, it's not a moral, it's not a moral dilemma. It's not a moral problem. It's not like you're gonna be shunned or shamed for eating a McDonald's cheeseburger every few months, but you could be for, going in, spending 45 minutes trying to find a perfect video or picture or whatever. That's where the whole problem really lies.
I mean, I would say yeah, addiction is definitely the biggest problem in that case. But I would say that watching a video every now and again, pornography and jerking off to that shit is still a problem. I wouldn't say the same thing about fast food. Like I would obviously, is fast food good for you? No, of course not. But is watching, or rather, sorry, is eating fast food every now and again, every like other month or something like that, is that bad for you? Of course, in the moment, it probably wouldn't be the most nutritious thing, but I wouldn't say it's morally bad. I wouldn't say it's even bad for your like physically. I wouldn't say it's bad either. Um, in the long term or whatever the case, I wouldn't say the same for pornography or the usage of that in a short term type of thing. Um, Pornography is very detrimental to society. On top of that, the production of it as well. If you're making a cheeseburger, not really it doesn't seem to me like that would be an immoral thing to do. But if you're making a porn video, even if it's once every now and again, you're making a cheeseburger for somebody that's really unhealthy every now and again. Yeah, I would say that the production of said things that are unhealthy just falls in different lines of what is the severity of the negative in these different things. The
Yeah, the
production of
negative
pornography,
impact of having too much of it.
even not having too much of it, even having a minimal amount of it, having a minimal amount of pornography or having a minimal amount of the production of pornography is still horrible for society, horrible for your own brain, horrible for the individual. In a lot of different ways, even physically, you can see the difference in brain structure when you watch pornography. Even once every now and again, it'll still change your brain structure. When it comes to fast food, the same isn't really true, and seems to me that the effects of eating a fast food cheeseburger or the production of said fast food cheeseburger, it doesn't seem to me the same harm that pornography, even if it's not repetitive, even if it's every now and again and not very often, the harm would still be more in that case. But I see what you mean though. I see your perspective on it.
It's just at the end of the day, it just it not relies. It boils down to, is it really worth giving in, right? Because like what I was thinking of when you were explaining was, it's kind of like the same feeling for both watching pornography and masturbating, and then eating, let's say a double cheeseburger, extra cheese, right? You're there, you're eating the cheeseburger, you're enjoying it, it tastes good. You're eating the fries, you're drinking the Coke or the Sprite, and then once you finish, it feels good. But then once the food finally settles, you feel like shit. And then you regret, oh, I shouldn't have, added the extra mayo or the extra
Yeah, but
cheese
do
or
you
all.
but do you really think that if you were to do that once every other month, you would feel like shit? Like if I ate like a double quarter pounder with cheese like
Oof.
every now and again, let's say like once every other month, you really think I would like? I don't really feel like I would feel like shit after I ate that burger. I'd be like, damn, that was pretty damn good, But the fact that I don't eat it as like often at all, I probably wouldn't. It probably would feel really good actually. I'd be like, damn, that was fucking good. Damn, that was fucking amazing.
Exactly. That's kind of the point that I'm trying to make. It's like you'll have that with the burger and the fries, but then once you're in the moment, you're watching the videos, you're looking at the pictures, you're fantasizing, and in the moment you're feeling good, and then yeah, once you finish, it's like, oh, I feel like
But that's what I'm
shit.
saying.
I shouldn't
Like,
have done that.
you think that if you were to eat a cheeseburger from McDonald's every other month, when you finish that cheeseburger, you'll feel like shit?
Eh,
I feel like I'd feel really fucking good. Like, damn, that shit was awesome. But like you said, if it was a porn video that I was watching every other month or something like that, after watching that porn video, I nutted or whatever the case may be, bro, I'm getting hit with the worst self shame I've ever fucking hit in my entire life. Every single time, it just keeps increasing in the shame. Because it's obviously a bad thing. It's like if my girlfriend caught me, or if my fiance rather caught me eating a cheeseburger from McDonald's every other month, I wouldn't give a fuck, to be honest. It's okay. You want to eat one with me? You know what I mean? But if my fiance catches me watching a pornographic video every other month, dog, I will be embarrassed beyond belief, shameful. She probably will feel really bad about it as well. Um, it's like that whole thing with when it comes to OnlyFans chicks. They like to say that what they're doing is fine, but would you be okay with your father watching that? Would you be okay with your mother watching your OnlyFans? Probably not. But why not though? Because if you were making art, or if you were um a movie star, or if you were a fucking McDonald's worker, would you feel bad that your parents are coming to watch you work at McDonald's? Probably not. At the very least, not at the level that you would if you were an OnlyFans chick. But why is that? Because it's shameful. And we all know deep down inside that it's a shameful thing to do, because there is some connotation to sex that is more than just an act for pleasure. It's something deeper, which is why we wouldn't do it with our parents, why we wouldn't do it with animals, which is why we wouldn't want our parents to see us do it, or whatever the case, because it's more intimate than what we like to say it is in today's society, which is another reason why I feel like pornography is actually so damaging to society, because it's giving people a false idea of how important the act truly is.
yeah, I can agree and I could understand that, bro.
That's all I really have to say about it. I don't know if you have any other further disagreements or whatever the case. But would you would still hold that men are primarily at fault when it comes to pornography and you know, the I
A
guess
hundred
the
percent, bro.
growth of
Because
it?
if it wasn't for yeah, bro. Because if it wasn't for fat asses like me, freaking McDonald's and Taco Bell probably would have went out of business in my area.
I mean, all right. I see your perspective, but yeah, we definitely disagree on that. But that's a good way to end the show. Disagreement there, a nice little back and forth. I think it was very productive for the listeners to hear that. I don't think we've ever really gone into that specific topic before, but either way, um, I don't really have anything much else to say about that topic. Maddie, do you have anything else you want to say about this topic or any other topic that we spoke on in the entirety of the show, or anything else you want to say just in general?
Not really, buddy. No.
All right, wonderful. With that being said, and you know, without without
Further
without
ado,
other ado, I guess, without later
without
ado.
further ado,
No, because further ado would mean that we're gonna start something. But what would be the
oh,
opposite of that? Like without lesser.
behind you ado.
Yeah, I guess. But without behind you ado, um, that's going to be the end of the episode. Thank you so much for watching. We appreciate every single one of you for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed, and if you did like it, make sure to drop a like on the episode. Make sure to drop some comments saying that we are awesome. Just a couple of announcements before we close the show completely. First and foremost, keep in mind every Tuesday, starting the 8th of April. Every Tuesday of April, we will have a guest on the show, and there will be a special Saturday episode where we will have a guest on there as well. It's going to be great. We're going to have a lot of interesting people to be on the show. We're going to talk to them. We're going to ask them questions. We're going to have a dialogue with them. We might even have little debates, little disagreements where it sparks off into something interesting. So be aware of those episodes coming soon. Every single Wednesday shows for the month of April, except for the first Wednesday, obviously. But every other Wednesday for the month of April, we're going to have guests on the show. Interesting guests as well. I'm not going to spoil too much about them. But all I will say is that we're going to have a vegan on. We're going to have a uh, a stay-at-home mom of two. We're going to have a comedian. We're going to have a dating coach or like a matchmaker. Um, like I said, a lot of interesting people we're gonna have on the show. It's gonna be awesome episodes. Stay tuned. Stay aware for those things. It's gonna be great. And also, the next episode following this one will be the very first time that me and Maddie are going to be trying in-person shows. We're going to try that out. We're going to see how it works. If it works out good, awesome. We'll keep doing it. If it doesn't work out good, we'll hold off until we get our own studio, or whatever the case, a better location to do it. But it's going to be, you know, a very it's a very exciting thing. Getting ready to embark on this new chapter of the Cat Five Boys show. So stay tuned for that as well. We can't wait to bring you those episodes, bring you all the fun. If you guys have any suggestions on what we can do during the in-person shows that you guys would want to see, maybe a game or something, we would love to hear those and implement them in the show as well. Disclaimer: the views expressed on the show by the individual hosts or guests do not necessarily reflect the views of the Cat Five Boys podcast. For the disclaimer, the topics explored on the show are not always the most sensitive, the most lighthearted. Sometimes it gets dark, sometimes it gets deep. If that's not your thing, this might not be the show for you. We have clips. If you can't catch the full shows and you want to get some of the best bits, some of the best bits, not all, because then what would be the point of the episodes, right? So if you want to get some of the best bits, because you can't catch the full shows, we post clips on Instagram at CatFiveBoys, on TikTok at CatFiveBoys, and if you're watching here on YouTube, we have shorts on YouTube that you can go check out. If you just click the channel and go to the channel and look at the shorts, we have a bunch of shorts posted as well if you want to check those out. Yeah. If you want to be a guest on the show, we would love to have you on. If you have a disagreement with me, Maddie, or George of anything of the sort, or of anything at all, really, if you disagree with my views on women, or my views on I don't know, politics, I guess, or something, you disagree with Maddie's views on pornography and men's responsibility of it, or you disagree with Maddie's views on simping, white knighting, who knows? If you disagree with George's views on fat people, or you disagree with George's views on Maddie, maybe, and you want to come on and you want to debate these topics and you want to tell us how stupid we are, and maybe we tell you how stupid you are. If you want to come on the show and have a debate with us, we would love to have you on. We would love to discuss these differences of opinion and see where we differentiate and see where we can find some common ground, or maybe your view is just completely moronic, or maybe our view is just completely moronic, and we figure that out as well. If you have a cool, interesting thing going on in your life and you want to talk about it as well, you want to have a conversation about it during the show, you want to hop on for that, we would love to have you on for that as well. Just DM us on Instagram at CatFiveBoys, giving us a little bio about yourself, the fact that you're interested in being on the show, and we will definitely coordinate with you and get you on the show as soon as possible. We would love to have you on, each and every one of you. I stream every single Saturday at 6 o'clock p.m. On Twitch and on YouTube. This stream that we're going to be doing, I didn't stream last week, I'm sorry about that. This week I'm going to stream. We have a lot to talk about. A black satanic mass that happened. It was like a ceremony, a satanic ceremony that happened in Kentucky. They were trying to destroy and do bad things to the consecrated body of Christ, or the alleged consecrated body of Christ that we celebrate in the Catholic masses. So I'm going to talk in depth about that during my stream. So if you guys want to check that out, I'm going to be on YouTube and on Twitch. Both of those links will be in the description down below. With that said, make sure to like, make sure to comment, make sure to subscribe on YouTube, make sure to drop us 5 stars on Spotify and on Apple Podcasts. Comment. We love the comments. Keep them flowing. We post every Wednesdays and Fridays. Fridays from now on, we will try to make it to be in-person shows from now on, so be aware of that. Hopefully that's exciting for you guys. With that being said, and without lesser ado, without behind ado, whatever the case may be, thank you so much for watching. We hope you have a beautiful night. God bless each and every one of you, and good night.
Have a great night, everybody. See you guys on Thursday.